Now we're going to begin inspecting and maintaining our suspension system. We're going to start with torquing all of the hardware to its specific torque specs and making sure none of it is loose, worn, or damaged. For that, we're going to grab our torque wrench and an adjustable wrench so that we have a countersink on the other side of the bolt that we're tightening. I've grabbed a few of the tools that we're going to use for this procedure and a pair of gloves to protect my hands from any of rust or debris that's built up onto our frame and suspension system. We're going to begin at this first shoulder bolt. This shoulder bolt holds this double eye leaf spring to the hanger attached to the frame. These should be tightened between 30 and 50 foot-pounds with your torque wrench. So here we can adjust our torque wrench. So we're going to adjust our torque wrench down to that 30 foot-pounds. And you should always double check your manufacturer's manual or your owner's manual to make sure that you are tightening your components to the right specs. Ours use a 13/16 inch size socket. So every time we heard that click, that means that our shoulder bolt is already tightened past that 30 foot-pounds. Now we're going to check the shoulder bolts on our shackle on the other end of our leaf spring. After the shoulder bolts on our shackle, you can also tighten the rest of the shoulder bolts across each hanger and the rest of the shackles, depending on how many leaf springs you have installed. The same thing can be done for your torsion axles at the bolts that hold that bracket in place, and making sure to check your owner's manual for the preferred specifications for that hardware. Another piece of hardware that needs to be tightened annually are the bolts at the U-bolts. Those are the bolts that hold that axle in place, and those are tightened between 35 and 90 foot-pounds, depending on the weight rating of your suspension system. So again, we're going to adjust our torque wrench, and using a 3/4 inch socket, we're going to tighten those clockwise.